Real quick, I got an email we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. Now, I guess it's been Lanny Poffo passing away all of a sudden. And we had some memories of the ICW television program, and I talked about, the low budget nature and the off the cuff, kind of flavor of the whole thing. And Rip Rogers had said when they did their first taping, they talked beleaguered old Channel 62 in Lexington, which was the third station in the market in a 3-station market. And they talked them into carrying the program. They did a couple of days of taping where they, when they started out, nobody knew what the fuck was going on. They just, put the guys with coats and hats in the, first, second row or whatever and tell them clap, but keep your head down, and just tried to fill up as best they could. And it was always kind of run on a shoestring. This is a letter from Steve in the Bluegrass, as he says. I think he's probably still in Lexington, but you never know. But anyway, this was a classic example of interacting with outlaw wrestling in those days, before independent wrestling became a thing. Hello, Jim. And of course, Brian, you're implied. I heard your broadcast reminiscing about Leaping Lanny's passing. I liked your comment, local hanger-on bell ringer smart fan, because that was me. I got smartened up at age 11 when I accidentally discovered my friend's dad, our elementary gym teacher, was a local job guy by discovering his black mask hanging from a clothesline strung across the bathtub. I realized he was the masked invader from Parts Unknown I had seen when the Memphis territory would come to Lexington, Kentucky. And he'll give his age later on, but this was before the Rupp Arena days, when Jarrett would run at either the Lexington Catholic High School gym or Henry Clay High School at one point. But I
didn't realize he ran Lexington before Rupp Arena.
Yes, he got Lexington. It didn't last because he couldn't keep the TV. But there were cards he ran in Lexington. That was the thing with Saul Weingroff and the Heat. That was the early 70s, 71, 72. Lexington was running at a high school gym and doing at the start, and that's why they wanted to go to Bowling Green for Nick. But once Lexington started doing well, but then see, that was the thing. They lost the TV at some point, and it was dark for a few years, because when they went back to Rupp Arena, it was because Lance had been able to convince the program director at WLEX 18 to carry the program. They were an NBC affiliate, so was Channel 5. Based on that success, that's why Lance had a piece of Lexington. So it had been probably 4 years since they had run out there. But nevertheless, I go back to the email. The masked invader from Parts Unknown, my recollection was he was usually in the first match, taking the loss to an undercard regular. Maybe you might recall someone like that, but since I'm 65 now, my guess is that's a little before your time. Well, bless you, Steve. Anyways, being a bright kid, while I didn't yet understand the work nature of the matches, I did understand the athleticism and how falling correctly made the show. You might imagine the surprise of my friend's dad when he discovered me trying to teach myself to take a bump by falling directly on the hard ground. He semi-smartened me up, explaining we need to make it a show before we do the finish. But it made sense to me, but he actually showed me a few basics of a lockup to a headlock to a go-behind and a hip toss, all of which made me a bigger fan. So, I'm in college working as a skinny bouncer at the Library Lounge in Lexington, doing martial arts and also working out at the 21st Century Health Spa, later to become the place where Liz worked, but this is before Liz. Angelo had opened up ICW, and the wrestlers would usually work out at 21st Century, very often the same time I did. So I became casual acquaintances with Crusher Broomfield, who'd later be the one-man gang, Randy, Lanny, Chief Tio, and Tapu, the other Samoans besides Afa and Sika, Rip Rogers, and Mike Doggendorf, who I haven't heard that name in years. He was an ex-UK football player, wrestled like 2 or 3 years, right? I and my other bouncer friends would come out to the TV studios and help fill the seats, as you mentioned. And he talks about Lanny recording. Do you remember the Lanny record that he made, The Policeman Is Your Friend?
Yes, I have that in his book.
Folks, Leaping Lanny Poffo released a spoken word poem over the battle hymn of the Republic, "The Policeman is Your Friend." And that's what I was talking about, was he was so babyface, cheesy babyface.
To a ridiculous. I mean, that's what I'm talking about when we talked about it. It's not just like, hey, don't do bad things. It's like, the policeman is your friend. I wrote a poem about it. What?
Yes.
No one wants to hear that.
Well, and that's, again, that's why a lot of the guys were in Randy's corner. But anyway, Steve continues on. I mean, the guy fans, I should say.
Help women
Steve
cross the
continues.
street. Yes.
Lanny and George Weingroff were tag team champions routinely, feuding with the Devil's Duo with Jeff Sword and Doug Vines, and later with the Convertible Blondes, Pez Whatley, Rip Rogers, Gary Royal. I eventually knew Liz, or just knew who she was, because I was a senior broadcasting major and she was studying that also. She also worked at the spa and had some classes with my own girlfriend. My semi-friendship with the ICW gang led to them visiting the bar I worked at, if they weren't wrestling, into more recreational visits at a local house in Lexington where Randy and others would actively participate. And that's the details on that. But basically, he finishes with, here's how I had a 4-second wrestling career in ICW. In late summer of 83, I think, and I believe this was about right, or maybe shortly before that, Rip and Randy had a falling out, and Rip left town with his girlfriend, Brenda Britton, who had been Randy's manager. You remember Miss Brenda Britton?
Of course.
She will never drown. Randy was looking for a manager and asked me, because I had a smart mouth, do you want to be my manager? The idea was I would be Randy's personal physician, Dr. Ira Feelgood, with my bag of chloroform, brick, disinfectant spray, baby powder, scalpel, etc.
Ira.
The premise was, because Randy was still a heel, he'd win by cheating, barely escape with the belt, but I wouldn't be so lucky and send him home happy, blah, blah, blah. And he says he considered doing it, but he only had one semester left of school. But they were doing a TV taping, and Randy told me to come down to the studio, and he gave me a pair of trunks, which I actually think were one of the midgets, and a pair of boots, and told me I had a match with Ricky Starr, who was not the Ricky Starr, but a local guy they had then. It's the opening bout, and Tim Tyler, the TV announcer who replaced John Beck, announces Ricky Starr versus Sensational Sonny King for one fall. The bell rings, and before we can lock up, Randy runs in the ring, throws me out of the ring, and then he kicks Ricky Starr and clotheslines him out of the ring. At that point, he cuts a promo on Ronnie Garvin, and that's it. So that's my 4-second wrestling career as Sensational Sonny King. And that had to be a rib also at the time. Because
when did Sonny King he was there in 81, right? In Memphis?
He was still there in 82.
82. This must have been around
81 to 82. And Rip and Miss Brenda left around about that time. So somebody was fucking with Sonny King there. But thank you, Steve, for your missive there about the your 4-second wrestling career. And that's the way ICW is it was like an outlaw promotion in terms of they had no budget and they just kind of made shit up as they went along. But I'd forgotten also about the policeman is your friend. But you know what? Here's the thing.
So cheesy.
But it was going around when Savage went to the WWF in his first year there and he won the belt and the blah, blah, blah. It was going around the locker room because in 1983 and into 1984, when they made up with Jarrett and Savage and Lanny went to Memphis and worked the program with Lawler, Randy Savage was living in an apartment over off of New Circle Road in Lexington, in an empty apartment with no furniture, just like a bench and the barbells and a mattress on the floor. And a year later, he's a WWF champion and made $800,000 was the story going around that year. So that was one of those locker room, gossip pieces that it can always happen. What the fuck? Literally from the outhouse to the penthouse, from being broke and their own company going out of business to being the second highest paid wrestler in the world in a year. Sleeping on a mattress on the floor. Do you know You know what led to that incredible success, though, Brian?
The success on the mattress?
The success of Randy Savage becoming the second highest paid wrestler in the world at that time after sleeping on a mattress in his empty apartment the year before. It was the brand of the mattress is what I'm going for. It was because I know you don't know about this, but I'm going to reveal this. This has been kayfabe for many years. Angelo Poffo, the miser, right? The cheapest man in wrestling, didn't like to wash his clothes because it would break the fibers down and you'd have to replace them quicker. Never spent a dime that he didn't have to. He was one of the first investors in the folks that now have become HelixSleep.com.
Although that's not true. So
no, because
don't make
Randy
statements
Savage
like that.
Randy Savage had the first ever prototype of the Helix Sleep mattress. Now the most comfortable and greatest and best-selling mattress and most fabulous thing to sleep on ever. He had fabulous. He had the prototype is what he had there, Brian. He had the very first one. And after sleeping on that prototype Helix Sleep mattress for 1 year, he was ready to go out and be the biggest star in the world. And the same thing can happen to you, folks. If you get one of these Helix Sleep mattresses and you sleep on it for a year, I guarantee you that you'll be the WWE champion. Either that or
you don't guarantee that. You
champion.
Can't guarantee any of this. No.
You will get up and go kick everybody's ass. You might be an Olympic champion. You might stretch Kurt Angle.
Might. I like might.
Well, actually, might makes right. So I'm right. And it's all because you're going to get the best sleep of your life with this Helix mattress, no matter what you look like or what your preferences are, no matter whether you're skinny or a big fat satchel ass, you could be the fat lady at the circus. And they've got a mattress that will fit your unique preferences. They've got luxury models. They got mattresses for big and tall sleepers. That means tall and fat. Even a mattress made just for kids, regardless of whether they're fat. You got fat kids, skinny kids, short kids, tall kids. It's a mattress made for kids.
That's right.
And how do you know which one's going to work the best for you and your body? Well, if you're a grown adult, don't get the kids' mattress because your feet will hang off. But otherwise, you go to HelixSleep.com. I'm trying to find that here just to make sure I'm right. HelixSleep.com. How could I forget? And you take the quiz. And they'll match you with your perfect mattress in under 2 minutes. How do you like to sleep? Splayed out on your back, curled up in the fetal position because of the state of the world today, on your stomach, ready to take what comes, whatever it may be. You tell them what you like, and they'll fit you with a mattress. And then it'll show up at your door, along with a couple of shady-looking individuals also saying that they'll offer to mow your lawn. But shoo them off because they're not affiliated with Helix.
Right.
No, they just, if they see the Helix Sleep mattress, the box on your front porch, they'll know that you're discerning and have fine taste, and they'll be scoping you out for potential later home invasion. So get that Helix mattress in real quick before everybody else finds out that you're of good taste and have fine items in your home. And then you just unbox it and you sleep on it. Every night you sleep. Every night you're going to want to go back to sleep again. I know this sounds hard to believe, but folks, I guarantee you this. If you put the Helix Sleep mattress in your home, every night of your life, you will want to get back on it and go to sleep again. Even if you slept the night before, you're going to want to go back to sleep again that night because it's that comfortable.
For the record, we absolutely think that's what will happen, but we can't guarantee it.
Yes.
No.
I'm telling you that if you've been off this Helix mattress in your home for 18 to 20 hours, you're going to want to get back on it.
I believe so. You can't guarantee it. You can't say guarantee. You could say, I really think so.
Well, maybe,
I truly believe this.
Except if you're a goddamn meth addict and you're on a 3-week bender and you haven't closed your eyes in a fucking long time, Otherwise, if you're a normal human being that enjoys a nice quality mattress, you're going to want to sleep on this thing every goddamn night. And you're going to want your kids to sleep on it too. Maybe you're going to want your kids to goddamn sleep on the big boy's mattress. You might want to put them on the kids' mattress, but you want the best for your children. And this is what you're giving them here, the Helix Sleep mat. Are you anti-child now, Brian? You're not wanting to give your children the best that you can possibly do for them?
You've gotten so ridiculous here. I don't even know how to reel this back.
What are you putting them on, a fucking canvas bag full of fucking oranges and rocks over in the corner?
Actually, for the record, my children have Helix mattresses.
Well,
and they love them.
Well, there you go. You got to parade them out here every once in a while. Show them sleeping on the Helix mattress.
No.
Well, you will if Helix says, because there's another thing. In every Helix mattress is a programming chip. As soon as you go to sleep, they start speaking to you.
No,
because that's the way you teach the kids good manners.
That's not the way you teach kids good manners.
You know, the kids lay down on the mattress. They hear from coming inside the mattress, say your prayers. Take your vitamins.
Hey, what about if inside the mattress it's the Lanny Poffo voice?
Yes, the policeman is your friend.
Always sit down quick and buckle up.
Yes, wear your safety belt. Use your left and right turn. How do you think children learn this these days? Not from their parents. They're programmed by the Helix Sleep Kids mattress. So if you want well-behaved children, right now, Helix is offering up to 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Because they know you guys know what you're doing. You go to Helix, that's Helix, helixsleep.com/JCE. This is the best offer they've made yet. 20%, and no matter how much you spend, up to 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows. helixsleep.com/JCE. Train those little crumb-snatching rugrats the right way. You'll be raising well-behaved children, and it's a boon to society and a good thing to do for civic discourse.
I think what you're trying to say is get your children the best mattress that you can, something that they will love, something that will be comfortable. Of course, Helix Sleep.
Yes, and then tell them to fall asleep and listen to the control voice.